When we first released Downtown, well, it's a wonderful record, but it's very, very different. So when we put it out, I remember Petula saying to me, I really don't mind if this isn't a hit. I'm just very proud of it because it is such a different and such an interesting record.
Yeah, that's true.
But fortunately, because we were being original, thank goodness, the public followed us and bought it in droves.
Well, it had that huge orchestra sound, which was kind of new at the time, sitting on the top of a kind of rock band, and this amazing song. And all I had to do was sing it, and there it was.
And it was the first of a whole string that we were lucky enough to get here as well, and they all kind of fit together in themselves.
Yeah, that's true. There was I Know a Place. We got the Grammy for Downtown, and we got the Grammy for I Know a Place. But I still think Don't Sleep in the Subway is one of my favorites, and Couldn't Live Without Your Love. I mean, they were all great songs.
It just goes on and on. I think I remember you talking about Don't Sleep in the Subway, that was written here. If
I don't know.
No, that
was it about here? Okay,
ask him.
That one was written in Manchester. That's why it was so difficult to write.
Manchester, England.
Yes, you had to get this right. I know the ones that were written here were Colour My World in New York, and My Love was written in Los Angeles.
Okay. Where did these songs come from? What were your influences as a songwriter?
I've been influenced by so many different writers. The one I had to watch out for not to be influenced by was Burt Bacharach, because it was very easy to be influenced by him. And when I did that, I probably didn't have the hits. But when I just thought on my own, then it was a lot easier.
God, then he must have just come just ahead of you. Well, he would have had a few before then too. You're right.
He did,
Yeah, but they say to thyself be true. You really have to be yourself and try not to copy anyone, I think, And Tony was original, and that's what was so exciting about it.
Mm-hmm. And the way you performed Downtown was totally original. Because I wasn't even sure about it. I thought it was I thought we'd made a very British record for a market that was essentially American. But Petula got it absolutely right. And
Danny, it's a hit all over the world. I spend a lot of time in French-speaking countries, and they absolutely love it. And I recorded it in French, but it's in English that they love it best. So there's something about that original recording that's very special.
When you continued writing songs that Petula did you have to follow a form for her? Did you do anything special in your songwriting for her?
I think if I was being totally truthful, one disappointment was that I couldn't get the big ballad hit that I really wanted to break up the happy toe tapping songs. But that's what we were making. That's what people loved. So I'd like you to comment on that, because I've never said it before, have I?
Well, no, you haven't said it before, but I mean, in fact, Tony wrote some beautiful, great ballads that I thought could have been hits, but they just never got played. I think, the people in the radio stations or wherever wanted to hear that particular sound from me. We were in that little box, and that's where they wanted us to stay.
It was ever so safe, but as soon as we did sign at the Times, we just knew that it had to sell. It was a Colour My World as well was another one.
Now, are you working on anything right now?
I'm always working on something, yes. We're working on Downtown the musical. That's the next project.
I didn't know that.
No, I just made it up.
Okay, I threw that in.
and I know you're always working. We were lucky to see you last year here.
Yes, well, I have a new album out, which is, totally different, recorded in a tiny studio. I mean, like Matchbox studio, but you know what? I mean, obviously all these songs that I did with Tony were recorded mostly in big studios because we were using lots of musicians. You don't really need to do that anymore, and it's a different way of working, and I actually quite enjoy it. It's very different.
It's a great album.
Thank you.
Tell me.
Elton just told me he thinks it's a great album, so that's nice.
Well, what does this award mean to you? I mean, you most certainly deserve it.
Well, thank you. It means a tremendous amount to me because obviously I've observed the Songwriters Hall of Fame and I've seen the people coming in, and I thought, well, I'll never get into it anyway. And so when they started nominating me, my friends, my lobbyists, I can tell you that last December when I heard that the vote had come my way finally, I was absolutely thrilled.
Are there any songs that are your favorites? I mean, obviously Downtown would have to rank, and you mentioned a couple others, but
I love Downtown,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
but I think that Don't Sleep in the Subway
Yes, me too.
it's got something special about it.
And I Couldn't Live Without Your Love. I adore that
Mhm.
song. I usually finish my show with it because it's like a kind of celebration. I
Mhm.
love that song.
tell me this. I Know a Place, was that about a particular place?
I suppose in a way it was an extension of Downtown. But I had been up to Liverpool and I'd visited the Cavern Club, you see. And as I started to write the lyrics for I Know a Place, the picture of the Cavern Club became a more positive in my mind.
Cellar Full of Noise.
Yeah. And you know that Brian Epstein's book is called A Cellar Full of Noise? He nicked my title.
I wanted to say one other thing just about the productions, and we touched on that a little bit, the productions of those records. Downtown, and I was thinking I Know a Place where the horns come in, you know.
That's him.
Yeah. It just really is outstanding. In addition to songwriting, just in record production.
I love the production side. I love that. And we had a great little studio, not a huge studio, but we had a very compact studio. We used to put everybody in it, Petula, the singers, the whole orchestra.
Live. Used to sing live.
We had a great engineer who worked with both of us for a long time, so understood exactly what we were looking for. And I always like to say, you know, that we had a well-controlled sound, whereas Phil Spector's was just a mess.
Yeah, but that was deliberately a mess, wasn't it?
That's also true. That is also true. Knowing Phil, that is indeed true.
Right.
But they both in both cases outstanding recordings, and that's why they were as successful as they were. In addition to the great songwriting, and of course the vocals, which
I just sang the songs. I mean,
Tony
Tony did the rest.
I couldn't have sung them.
I'll tell you one other thing about it, secret about success. Lots of rehearsal, only a few takes. Downtown was take 2. We did a third take, but we decided we liked take 2 the best.
Yeah.
But I hated, I always thought it was very demoralising for musicians and artists, especially when you say take 39.